Hey guys, it's Paul Walker from the GH Spoilers YouTube channel. The weather in New York is super gloomy today, but honestly, it perfectly matches the absolute storm of drama happening in Port Charles. Today we're talking about Curtis completely losing his mind assaulting Isaiah, and the massive paternity secret Portia is definitely hiding. Let's jump right into the madness. Oh my god, I'm screaming. I literally cannot even deal right now. I am shaking. I was literally sitting there eating my dinner, just minding my own business, having some pasta, and I actually choked on my food when this scene happened. I had to pause the TV and text my friend immediately because my brain was short-circuiting. Okay, but listen, Curtis Ashford has actually literally completely lost his entire mind. Like snapped, unhinged. I am talking about a full-blown, absolute villain era jealousy spiral. And I am here for the drama, but also just absolutely horrified by his behavior. I can't even process what I just watched on my screen because it was so dramatic. Let me just set the scene for you because it is wild and you need the full picture. So they are at the Metro Court Gardens, right? It's a beautiful day. People are eating their little salads, drinking their iced teas, totally relaxed. And Curtis just walks up and sees Isaiah with Portia. And Isaiah has his hand on Portia's pregnant tummy, like feeling the baby kick or whatever. And Curtis just sees red. At this point, I'm yelling at my screen like, why would he do that? Why is he acting like he owns her? They are divorced. They aren't even together like that right now. But Curtis just starts screaming across the room like an absolute maniac, yelling at Isaiah to get his hands off his child. The audacity. Oh, wait, before that happened, actually. I forgot to mention earlier, but the tension has been building for literally weeks between these two. Like, it's been a simmering feud that was obviously gonna explode, but I didn't think it would be this bad. Anyway, Curtis marches over there all puffed up and aggressive, and Isaiah, who honestly has zero filter, and I kind of love him for it, claps back. And Isaiah says, the one thing that is guaranteed to make Curtis explode into a million pieces. He literally brags that he would be a better daddy to this baby than Curtis ever would. I'm dead. I literally stopped breathing. The absolute nerve of Isaiah to say that, right, to Curtis's face. And then, which is insane, by the way, Curtis just hauls off and punches Isaiah. Like a full-on aggressive, violent punch. In the middle of the Metro Court Gardens, Isaiah goes flying. He literally crashes into a table. It was like a movie stunt, I swear. Dishes crashing everywhere. People gasping. And Isaiah hits the floor and he is writhing in pain, clutching his hand. His surgical hand, the hand he uses to save lives. I am actually sick over this. Curtis just ruined this man's entire career because he couldn't control his temper for 2 seconds. I was like, are you serious? Right now, Curtis. Wait, did I already say that? Whatever, anyway, Portia is right there, and she is absolutely frantic. She drops to the floor with Isaiah, totally ignoring Curtis at first to check on the man who is bleeding and broken on the ground. And then she looks up, and she is screaming at Curtis, what the hell is wrong with you? And honestly, same Portia, same. She needs to get it together, I swear. Because how did she not see this coming with how possessive he's been? But seeing her scream at him was iconic. She was so horrified, and you could see the exact moment her perception of Curtis completely shattered into a million pieces. And then Joe Fitzpatrick shows up, the new cop in town, who is honestly kind of shady, and I don't fully trust him, but in this moment, he was exactly what we needed. Maitre d' called the cops, obviously, because there's a brawl in the fancy restaurant. And Portia literally points the finger right at Curtis. Yes, Portia turns him in. She tells Joe exactly what happened, and Joe arrests Curtis right there in the gardens. I was cheering. But also, my jaw dropped because Curtis is acting so entitled, clinging to his wedding ring during this violent outburst like it means anything anymore. He is acting like he is the victim. Okay, where was I? Right, so the baby. The paternity. I need to talk about the paternity because I am calling it right now. Mark my words, Portia lied. Again. I know we had that whole DNA test situation that supposedly proved Curtis is the father of Portia's baby. But come on, guys. Do we actually believe that Portia Robinson is literally the queen of hiding paternity secrets? She hid Trina's paternity for 20 years. 20 years she let Marcus Taggart think he was the only dad while Curtis was in the dark. Why wouldn't she fake a DNA test now? It's literally her go-to move when she's stressed. I am honestly so stressed thinking about this. If Portia faked the test, she probably did it just to keep the peace. Because think about it, Curtis was being so pushy about the test. He was demanding answers, acting all high and mighty. And Portia probably looked at Curtis, who is already dealing with so much, and looked at Trina and thought, I cannot blow up this family again. So she faked the result to say Curtis is the dad, hoping she and Isaiah could just handle the real truth privately. She thought she was doing the right thing, which is so typical. Portia always trying to manage everyone's feelings and making a huge mess instead. But now, oh my gosh, now the whole plan has blown up in her face in the most spectacular way possible. Because Curtis is acting like a violent, possessive maniac. And don't even get me started on his absolute delusion about the car crash. I literally can't breathe when I think about how crazy Curtis sounds right now. He's actually running around telling everyone, including Jordan and Dante at the police station, that Isaiah is the one who caused the accident and left him and Jordan to die. He has convinced himself of this alternate reality where Isaiah is a supervillain, which is a complete and total lie. Jordan caused the accident, and Brooklyn Quartermain was the other driver. Brooklyn is literally walking around Port Charles right now, suffocating in guilt, because she hit the guardrail and kept driving. And meanwhile, Curtis is using a random scratch on Isaiah's SUV from a parking blunder to frame him. Curtis is practically manifesting a death wish for Isaiah. He wants Isaiah completely destroyed and locked up. And why? Because deep down, I think Curtis knows, I think his subconscious knows the baby isn't his, and he's projecting all his insecurities onto Isaiah. I'm getting sidetracked. Let me circle back to the hospital. So Isaiah gets loaded into an ambulance and taken to General Hospital, right? And they do the x-rays. And you guys, it is so bad. I was literally crying for him. He has 11 fractures in his hand and wrist. 11. And severed tendons. He needs multiple surgeries. His career as a top-tier surgeon is completely over because of Curtis. Because Curtis got his feelings hurt over a comment about being a daddy. Not okay. Seriously not okay. He destroyed a man's livelihood over a bruised ego. And then we cut to the PCPD, and Curtis is in custody, and Dante actually takes his handcuffs off. I was yelling at the TV. I was like, are you serious, Dante? Why are you giving this man special treatment? Just because. You know him, Joe Fitzpatrick, looks so mad. And honestly, I am on Joe's side for once. Joe is looking at Dante like he's corrupt, and he is right. Curtis is sitting in the interrogation room with Jordan, who had to put a scarf over her. Had to sneak into the station because of her secret undercover mission with Jen Sidwell, which is a whole other dramatic mess, and Curtis is just ranting and raving. Curtis is playing the ultimate victim. He says he'll pay Isaiah's medical bills and apologize. As if money fixes severed tendons. The audacity. He actually tells Jordan, everyone has their limits. He pushed me way past mine. Sir, your limit shouldn't be shattering a doctor's hand. And Jordan is just looking at him like she doesn't even know who he is anymore. Justine Turner, the ADA, is also there. And she doesn't want to prosecute Curtis because it would cause more pain for Jordan. But honestly, Curtis needs to go down for this. He is out of control. Let's think about Portia for a second, because my heart actually breaks for her. She is pregnant. She is highly stressed. Stress is so bad for expectant mothers, especially at this level of absolute chaos. She is watching the man she is supposedly having a baby with turn into a violent, unhinged monster right in front of her eyes. Curtis has never been around a baby. Trina is a grown woman. We have never seen Curtis handle a crying infant or deal with the stress of a newborn. He has zero track record with little kids. And now Portia is probably sitting there questioning what kind of future she wants for her baby. She has to be thinking, what if he snaps at the child? If he can fly off the handle and destroy a doctor's hand in the middle of a fancy restaurant just because of a verbal insult, what is he going to do when he's sleep deprived and the baby won't stop crying? It is horrible to think about, but Portia has to be thinking it. She cannot take that chance. She has to protect her child from this man's volatile temper. Her anxiety must be through the roof right now. Which brings me right back to my main prediction. This is going to end badly for Curtis, because Portia's fear is going to push her to tell the truth. I am convinced that Isaiah is the real father. Isaiah's bragging wasn't just him being a jerk. It was him staking his claim because he knows the truth too. He knows he is the dad, he would be a better father, because he is actually the father. My mind is literally blown just thinking about the absolute fallout when this secret drops. It is going to be the scandal of the century in Port Charles. I honestly feel a little bad for Curtis, but also I don't. Like, why would he do that? He brought all of this on himself. The jealousy has completely rotted his brain. Their lives are so tangled right now. Portia and Curtis are divorced. They have all these new relationships. And yet, Curtis is acting like he has ownership over her body and her baby. It is so toxic. I'm done. I am literally so done with him. He needs therapy, not a baby. But you know Portia is going to drag this out. Because it's Portia She will probably try to hide the secret for another few weeks while Isaiah is in physical therapy trying to learn how to hold a fork again. But the guilt is going to eat her alive. Seeing Isaiah's ruined career, seeing Curtis's spiraling madness, knowing she caused part of this by lying about the DNA to spare Curtis and Trina more heartache, she is going to crack. And when she does, Portia Robinson is going to break the internet. The fallout is going to be biblical. Okay, I am out of breath just typing all of this. I need to go drink some water and process my feelings. Because this show is literally taking years off my life. But I am so invested. I am acting like these are my real neighbors. And I am peeking through the blinds, watching them fight on the lawn. It is so dramatic, and I cannot wait for the next episode. Mark my words, the paternity results are fake. Isaiah is the dad, and Curtis is going to end up in Pentonville. I'm dead. Let me know what you guys think. Bye.